Welcome again, dear students. In today's lecture, we will discuss one very important topic, that is endangered species management, a success story of the tigers. In this lecture, we will discuss how, through effective management practices, we will revive the species under crisis into a healthy population and ultimately conserve the entire biodiversity of that particular ecosystem. As we all know and we have discussed already, India is one among the 17 mega biodiversity countries of the world. With only about 2.4% of the world total land area, the country harbors over 8% of the global biodiversity. Thus, managing this diversity is an enormous challenge and responsibility, and also make difficult due to various prevailing threats and the issues. Thus, to provide a conservation blanket on Indian biodiversity, a legislation called Indian Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 came into force. This is an umbrella legislation for the wildlife enforcement in India. As we know, living to the six mass extinctions that the earth have ever faced. There were five mass extinctions in the past, and the famous one being at the end of the Cretaceous period when the dinosaurs were actually wiped out. We are now in what we call the Anthropocene extinctions. Anthropos being a man, and we are now in the age where the natural activity is largely determined by the action of the human beings. Species do extinct at some rate over time, but right now we are facing the six mass extinction. So the extinction rate today for the mammals and the birds is about 100 times the background rate of the extinction in the earth history. So please be under no illusions. There is a crisis and we are living through a very difficult times in the history of the earth. Let's start our main topic of today's lecture. In this lecture, we will discuss how we can say conservation efforts bring back the tiger from the verge of extinctions. Back in the early 19th century, there are about 40,000 tigers in India. Within 7 decades, tiger population decreased to mere 1,800. It was shocking and alarming, but also a reflection of the neglect that was being heaped upon the national element of India. In light of the huge criticisms, the government looked into the issue and initiated steps to revive the tiger population in the country. And the Project Tiger India was launched in the 1st April 1973 as a major wildlife conservation project. It was launched from the Jim Corbett National Park of the Uttarakhand. Initially, when the Project Tiger was rolled out in 1973, 19 tiger reserves encompassing an area of 9,115 square kilometers were identified to brought under species protections. By the late 1980s, the number of the tiger reserves increased from 9 to 15 with an area of 24,700 square kilometers of forested land was reserved for the tigers. By 1984, the number of the tiger reserves present in the Project Tigers reached about 1,100. In the next few years, more and more tiger habitats were added to the Project Tiger. By the year 1997, there were 23 tiger reserves stretched over an area of 33,000 square kilometers were being protected under Project Tiger in India. However, even as the range of the protected areas continued to expand, the number of the tiger reserves actually did not increase considerably. In December 2004, the nation was actually shocked to know the tiger was actually disappeared from the Siska tiger reserves in the Rajasthan. By March 2005, the Wildlife Institute of India confirmed this in its interim report that no tiger left in Sariska. Central Bureau of Investigation was asked to inquire into the disappearance. CBI investigated, revealed that since July 2002, poachers have been killing tigers in the reserves, and the last 6 tigers were killed in the summer monsoon of 2004. Consequently, the Ministry of the Environment, Forest and Climate Change set up a task force on April 19, 2005 to review the management of the tiger reserves in India. Tiger Task Force reviewed the management of tiger reserves as in India. Actually, they suggest the measure to strengthen tiger reserves in the country, suggest measures to incentivize the local community in conservation of the tigers, suggest measure to incentivize the local forest enforcement posted in sanctuaries and the national parks, suggest measures to improve the methodology of the tiger counting, and also suggest method of transparent professional audit of the wildlife parks and placing data on tiger conservation in the public domain. On the basis of, we can say, Sariska tragedy, the Tigers Task Force recommended that Government India has included the constitution of National Tiger Conservation Authority in the amendment of 2006 of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. There are two remarkable inclusions. One is National Tiger Conservation Authority and other is Wildlife Crime Control Bureau in the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 in 2006 amendments. NTCA actually function as a statutory body under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for conservation and management of tiger and tiger habitats in the country. The purpose of the NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority, is to provide central assistance to the states for tiger reserves based on their tiger conservation plans. It also includes protections, habitat improvement, day-to-day monitoring, eco-development for the local peoples in the buffer areas, as well as voluntary relocation of the peoples from the core or critical tiger habitats, and addressing human-wildlife conflict within guidelines of the National Tiger Conservation Authority. NTCA also conducts the country-level assessments of the status of the tiger, co-predators, prey and habitats once in 4 years using the modern techniques as approved by Tiger Task Force. Survival of the tiger is actually dependent on the conservation and the management efforts. To scale the success of the conservation efforts, it is important to assess the effectiveness of the management of the tiger reserves. So, after the disappearance of the tigers in Sariska Tiger Reserves, the Government of India issued a directive to the Office of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India and Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change to conduct an independent audit and place the report in the Parliament. Wildlife Institute of the India with global experts and NTCA develop a framework for independent evaluations procedures to evaluate tiger reserves of the country. Protected area management effectiveness has become increasingly well recognized in both developed as well as developing countries. It has been seen that declaration of the protected areas does not always result in adequate protections. Evaluation is necessary as protected area face many threats. Evaluation is not only a simple way of looking problems, it is an important to identify when things are going well. It looks both issues within and beyond the control of the individual managers. This will help in assisting in effective resource allocation, promoting accountability and transparency, help in improving or involving the community in conservation initiatives, and promote the values of the protected areas. India is among the selected countries in the world that have institutionalized the management effectiveness evaluation process. Under Project Tiger, evaluation of the tiger reserves networks have been made after every 4 years from 2006 to 2018 in India. First cycle include 28 tiger reserves in 2006, second 39 tiger reserves in 2010, third 43 tiger reserves in 2014 and the fourth 50 tiger reserves in 2018. For assessment of management effectiveness evaluation framework, 32 distinct criteria were identified. And this management effectiveness evaluation of the tiger reserves rate the tiger reserves into different 4 categories based on their performance. That is, if it is performance is less than 40, it has been given as poor. If it is 41 to 51, then it is fair. If it is 60 to 74, it is good, and if it is more than 75, it is very good. Tiger reserves actually carry out law enforcement and ecological monitoring activities at a regular interval, but the information generated was an ad hoc and is rarely available to the tiger reserve managers in a format for the decision making. So another things that has been initiated is M-Stripes has been designated to address this gap. It is a platform where modern technology is used to assist effective patrolling, assess ecological status and mitigate human-wildlife conflict in and around tiger reserves. NTCA has undertaken a number of the milestone initiatives to strengthen tiger conservation in the country, like active managerial interventions for reintroducing tigers in the areas where it has been locally extinct. Since June 2008, tigers have been successfully reintroduced in Sariska, Rajasthan and Panna, Madhya Pradesh tiger reserves. Restocking of the tigers in Sanjay Gandhi tiger reserves and Narhadi wildlife sanctuary. Realizing the importance of the tiger protection in biodiversity conservation, the Finance Ministers has announced policy initiatives on 29th February 2008 for constituting a special tiger protection force based on one-time grant of 50 crore provided to the National Tiger Conservation Authority for raising, arming and deploying special tiger protection force. This special tiger protection force operational in the states of the Karnataka, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Odisha and Assam. It is implemented in 13 selected tiger reserves initially at the first stage. Available data and research finding on tiger ecology indicates that for maintaining a viable population of the tiger, 80 to 100 tigers in a tiger reserves, a minimum of 800 to 1200 square kilometer of involate forest area is required. Creating involate space for tigers and other while focusing on overall development of the local communities has been one of the priority activity of National Tiger Conservation Authority. Voluntary village relocation program is being implemented in several tiger reserves across India with twin objectives. One is empowering the local communities by giving access to development opportunities and creating involate space for tiger so that both can occur in harmony. According to Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of 2020, there are 41,000 families in 496 villages across 50 tiger reserves and around 18,500 families across 215 villages have been relocated at this particular time of the period. There should be a we can say tiger conservation plan each tiger reserves according to National Tiger Conservation Authority for the protection of the tiger reserves and providing tiger reserve specific habitat inputs for maintaining a viable population of tigers, co-predators and the prey animals. Ecologically compatible land use in tiger reserves and the areas linking one protected areas with another protected areas or tiger reserve for providing dispersals, habitat and the corridors. Out of 55 tiger reserves, these 35 tiger reserves have been approved by the NTCA and thus are under preparations or scrutiny for this tiger conservation plan. The state government shall establish a tiger conservation foundation also for tiger reserves within the state according to National Tiger Conservation Authority. So, this TCF support the tiger reserve management for conservation of the tigers and associated biodiversity and also taking eco development initiatives through people participations. In 2013, media coverage regarding spread of CD virus in tiger countries like Indonesia and Russia Federation had created some sense of insecurity because this particular disease causing high fever, watery eyes, lethargy, vomiting, diarrhea, paralysis and death of the animals. NTC actually suggested following preventive measures in tiger reserves to control any outbreak. One is vaccination of the cattle, cats and dogs living around tiger reserves on a regular basis. Any incidents of the wild animals showing abnormal behaviors must be reported immediately. Tissue of the dead animals collection for pathological analysis and periodic checkup of water quality in tiger reserves both during pre and post monsoon seasons. NTCA has also taken a lot of initiative for tiger conservation to further safeguard the conservation efforts and the tiger to survive into a long-term future. It is important that the key tiger population remain connected with each other through corridors. The steps have been taken to connect different habitats so that the tiger can move freely. Corridors ensures actually genetic exchange through dispersal. Corridors would also serve to guard against the extinction risks caused by the environmental and man-made factors. WI actually identified corridors after intensive and extensive countrywide survey during assessment of the tiger prey and habitat assessments done in 2006 and 2010. These are, we can say, the Shivalik hills and the Gangetic plains and landscapes, another is Central India's landscape of the Eastern Ghats, another is Western Ghat landscape complex, another is North East Hills. This is, we can say, in this slide you can see the Shivalik Hills and the Gangetic Plains corridors that actually connect this Rajaji and Corbett. Another is Corbett Dudhwa corridors. Then we have another is Dudhwa Kishanpur Kataniya Ghat corridors. Then we have this Central Indian landscape and Eastern Ghats. Then we have these Western Ghat landscapes. Then we have Northeast landscapes that actually connect the different habitats of the tigers. And then we have this is the we have map of tiger reserve. Till now we have 55 tiger reserves in India, and this map showing the location of the tiger reserves in different states. Tiger actually task force also suggested a countrywide monitoring of the tigers and their ecosystems based on modern scientific protocols developed by the Wildlife Institute of India. And TCA, we can say in collaboration with State Forest Department, conservation NGOs, and coordinated by the Wildlife Institute of India, has conducted a national assessment for the status of the tigers as well as their co-predators, prey, and their habitat every 4 years. Since then, first assessment based on this scientific methodology was done in 2006, and subsequently in 2010, 14, 18 and 2022. Our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji released the actually last report of tiger population in 2022 on completion of 50 years of the Project Tiger in Mysore, Karnataka. As per the new findings, the population of the big cats in the country has gone up from 2,967 in 2018 to 3,167 in 2022. During the event, actually the Prime Minister also released the government vision for tiger conservation during Amrit Call, and also launched, we can say, the International Big Cat Alliance. We can say the Government of India has shown strong commitment to conserve this iconic species through several management initiatives in the form of, we can say, amendments to the Wildlife Protection Act and creating a National Tiger Conservation Authority, delineating inviolate core areas in tiger reserves, voluntary relocation programs, and among many others initiatives. So management initiatives have been critical in securing the survival of the key tiger population, the biodiversity and the ecosystem services of the forest they actually inhabit. As a top predator and as a ketone species, a healthy tiger populations reflects the health of the environment. So conservation efforts to protect tigers can therefore contribute to the preservation of the healthy herbivore populations and other carnivore species, and ultimately help us for the conservation of the entire biodiversity of that particular ecosystems in which actually the tiger is present. So as a tiger is, we can say, is an umbrella species, conservation of tiger means conservation of entire biodiversity. With this, we end today's lecture, and in the next lecture we will continue to discuss some other interesting topic of biodiversity conservation. Thank you dear students.